Welcome to Episode 7 of Land of History, where we delve into the fascinating relationship between archaeology and historical narratives. In this episode, we explore how conclusions are drawn from archaeological findings and discuss the challenges, controversies, and methodologies involved in interpreting the past. One of the key misconceptions about archaeology is the idea that findings neatly align into chronological layers, with each stratum representing a distinct period. In reality, archaeological layers often overlap, mix, or present anomalies that challenge simplistic interpretations. Cultural and chronological boundaries are fluid, and even the classification of periods can be subjective. Archaeological interpretation is not a standalone process. It relies on historical theories to provide context. Findings are secondary to the historical narrative, serving as evidence that supports or challenges existing hypotheses. This interconnectedness highlights the importance of developing robust historical frameworks before interpreting artifacts. Despite its challenges, archaeology offers invaluable insights into the past, often shedding light on mysteries that historical texts alone cannot explain. For example, when historical records and archaeological evidence intersect, such as the discovery of King Mesha's stele recounting his conquests in ancient Israel, we gain a more complete and credible understanding of historical events. Archaeology is particularly effective when findings corroborate written records. Cross-referenced evidence, such as descriptions of geopolitical structures or urban layouts, allows us to construct a clearer picture of ancient civilizations. Amihai Mazar highlights the accuracy of biblical descriptions of Canaanite city-states, which align with records from the Amarna letters and other ancient texts. These parallels suggest that biblical accounts reflect a genuine understanding of the geopolitical realities of the 2nd millennium BCE. The Book of Joshua describes Hazor as the head of all kingdoms, Joshua 11:10, a status supported by archaeological findings. Layers of destruction at Hazor, including shattered idols and evidence of burning, align with narratives of conquest. While definitive attribution to Joshua's campaign is debated, the evidence strongly supports a violent overthrow during this period. Interpreting population and settlement patterns. Archaeological surveys, such as those conducted by Israel Finkelstein and Adam Zertal, often yield contrasting conclusions due to differing methodologies and interpretive frameworks. Finkelstein, for instance, downplays the scale of early Israelite settlement, describing the population as sparse and scattered. In contrast, Zertal and others argue that settlement patterns indicate a distinct, sizable population with unique cultural markers. The discrepancies often stem from assumptions about what constitutes definitive evidence. For example, population density calculations based on ancient storage capacities or house sizes involve numerous assumptions, making definitive conclusions elusive. The limits of archaeological interpretation. Archaeology offers only fragments of the past. Many significant events and cultural practices leave no physical trace or remain unidentified. For instance, despite Jerusalem's continuous habitation, evidence from the early Second Temple period is scant. This does not negate the city's historical importance but highlights the gaps inherent in archaeological records. Similarly, statistical models and analogies drawn from modern contexts, such as comparing ancient settlements to modern villages, can lead to speculative conclusions. Archaeological findings should be viewed as part of a larger puzzle, not definitive answers in isolation. Challenging assumptions in archaeology. Finkelstein's work demonstrates how interpretations can diverge based on the researcher's perspective. His skepticism toward aligning findings with biblical narratives challenges traditional interpretations. However, critics like archaeologist Yitzhak Meitlis argue that such skepticism sometimes stems from a preconceived agenda rather than an objective analysis of evidence. Conclusion. Archaeology, while a powerful tool, is inherently interpretive. Findings are shaped by historical frameworks, cultural biases, and methodological choices. By integrating archaeological evidence with historical records, we can approach a more nuanced understanding of the past. However, the field requires humility and openness to multiple interpretations. As we continue our journey through history, remember that every artifact, layer, and site is a piece of a larger, often incomplete story. Thank you for joining us on Land of History. Stay tuned for more explorations into the past.